And this country give a mandate to our institution, National Population and Family Planning Agency, especially to our directorate, to develop youth resilience and also youth character. And to reach this objection, we must provide youth with activities preparing them to face changes in society, an opportunity to achieve high economic growth by demographic bonus, as I said before. And young people, in order to build youth character, we have two programs with two targets. That's really important by giving some education and information to youth themselves and also to their parents. First, we have Pusat Informasi and Counseling Remaja, or we can say PIK-R, or in English, Acha said that Youth Information and Counseling Center. Am I right? And this community, these young communities, provide information preparing for family life, maturing marriage age, and also for sure life skills and counseling services. And nowadays we have more than 26,000 PIK-R spread across 38 provinces in Indonesia, with approximately 260,000 members from the PIK-R. And the second, we have the programs special for the parents who have youth in their families that we call Bina Keluarga Remaja or Youth Family Development. This youth family development is a community or group that brings together family who have the teenage children with the aim to providing and sharing information about their physical development, mental, and also reproductive health. And the last maybe also parenting. It's a kind of the issues that will be discussed in the youth family development. So far, we have around 45,000 groups established in all provinces in Indonesia. And currently, BKKBN is intensifying the optimization of PIK-R and also genre, of course, as a national scale priority program. If I said genre, maybe our participant from out of Indonesia, genre is a member of PIK-R. So we do some branding to the member of the PIK-R with genre. And one of the national program that we call Ini Genting. Ini Genting is implementasi nyata genre cegah stunting, or in English, implementation by the youth generation to prevent stunting. This program focuses on accelerating the stunting reduction by mobilizing and educating youth awareness in nutrition and also anemia. And as we know, youth and the future great parent who will create quality and prosperous families. So the quality of the families is really depend on youth as a future great parent. And young people, as a director of Youth Resilience Development, I would like to express my highest appreciation to Bangka Youth Information and Counseling Center, PIK-R Bangka, who really has always exceeded my expectation. And one of them is initiative to hold this international webinar. I'm proud to be part of this webinar, Youth Action Across the Asia, Youth Beyond Border, Navigating Challenges, Embracing Opportunities. What a really great theme of this webinar actually. And this webinar represents a new form of engagement to strengthen youth voice and also role in wider society and nation. This international webinar for sure has enormous benefit for us to learn and to discuss some youth issues. We will accompany also by qualified speakers that I already noticed before. They will share to us their knowledge, their thoughts about youth-related issues, not only in Indonesia, but also in Asia. In the end, I just want to give my best wishes to all of you. And also, I want to say that better yourself with the every passing day and never get discouraged in life with any impediment that you come across. Face them boldly and wisely. And don't forget, enjoy your webinar. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And salam genre. I will give the floor to Nazwa as a master of ceremony. Nazwa?
Okay, thank you so much, KD, for joining us and for sharing such a valuable insights. Your presentation was truly enlightening and informative. Thank you so much, KD. Next, let me introduce our speakers. We have Syazwani Yusri from Malaysia. She is top 3 riders of International Youth Leadership Summits 2021 and also an activist for education and human rights. And move slightly upwards, we also have Mark Devon Maitim from the Philippines. He is a UNICEF East Asia and the Pacific Young People's Action team mentors and a social activist in the Philippines. Their knowledge on SDGs is sure to leave a lasting impact on all of us. Together, they bring a wealth of knowledge and experience on tonight's session, and I'm certain that their insight will be nothing short of brilliant. So let's get started. Before we jump into the next session, let me share a few guidelines that everyone should follow for tonight's session. 1. Keep your camera on, set a virtual background if you like, and use your full name. 2. Mute your microphone where you're not speaking. 3. Use the raise hand features to speak up. 4. Respect the moderator's instruction and avoid any disruption. 5. Keep the chat box friendly and respectful. Next, let us jump to the next agenda, which is the main session that will be led by our moderator. She is Anissa Gina Nabila. Anissa Gina, are you here?
Yes, is it my voice clear?
Yes, thank you, Gina. And without further ado, please welcome Gina.
Okay, thank you for the time and the floor, Kak Zahwa. Okay, so hello everyone. Good evening from Indonesia. It's already 7 and 8 p.m. in here. So welcome to our session tonight. I'm Anissa Gina Nabila, or you can call me Gina, the moderator of today's webinar. I'm thrilled to see you. You'll be learning about an insightful topic from Syazwani Yusri and Mark Divan. We have Syazwani Yusri joining us from Malaysia. She's the top 3 rider of the International Youth Leadership Summit 2021 and an activist for education and human rights. We also have Mark Divan, my team from the Philippines. He's a Young People's Action Team mentor at UNICEF East Asia and the Pacific and a social activist in the Philippines. So now moving on to our first session, please welcome Syazwani Yusri, who will be speaking to us about SDG 1, No Poverty. Okay, hello, Syazwani Yusri, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh my God, hi, you look pretty today.
Hi, is it my voice clear?
Yeah, is it clear enough, actually?
All right.
Okay. Okay. It's like 7 p.m. in Indonesia. How about in Malaysia?
In Malaysia, currently around 8:40 something,
Oh my
8:43.
God.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
1 hour, yeah, 1 hour more.
Oh my God. I'm glad to see you here, actually.
Yeah, me too, me too. It's an honor to be here today with you guys.
Okay, thank you. Okay, before that, how do I call you? Sazwani or Yusri?
You can just call my nickname Wani.
Wani.
Yes.
Okay, it's a
I
cute name, actually.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, Wani, the floor is yours.
Okay, I will share my screen first. I'll share this, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can you guys see the slide?
Yes, we can see it.
All right. Okay. So I will start by introducing myself very briefly. So my name is, as already introduced by the moderator, my name is Nosha Zwani binti Muhammad Isri. You guys can call me Wani. And currently, I just finished practicing as a pupil in Chambers. And inshallah, by the middle of this month, I will be admitted as an advocate and solicitor of Malaya. And on behalf of my involvement in the NGOs, I actively involved in policy making NGOs and also as an activist in a Malaysian anti-corruption NGO and also in education and human rights NGOs background. All right. So first of all, I want to say that it is an honor to have this opportunity to share my thoughts and to share on the SDG 1 regard to no poverty with you guys, all of you here. If I'm not mistaken, there are around like 50 something participants, 53 participants. It's quite a lot. Okay, and thank you for lending your time, lending your ears today to, give opportunity for the speakers to share our thoughts. All right. And along the way of my presentation, I will share on the focus of SDG 1 and also the goals and target on how the goals and target of SDG 1 and how the youth can participate and contribute in achieving the target, either in the local or the global levels. All right. And throughout my session, I would love if there is two way of communication. If you guys have any question or something to say, just can let me know. I will give the floor to you. Okay. So I will start first with SDG 1. As you guys know, it is regarding no poverty. So the target is to end poverty in all its form everywhere. So under this SDG number 1, it actually defines extreme poverty as a people living on less than $1.90 a day. But however, the United Nations and also the World Bank describe extreme poverty in terms of income or monetary, whereby they say that people who living less than $1.90 a day is regarded as living in an extreme poverty area. However, the measure of poverty is actually not only focused on income be made per day, but it also cover more than that, including poor health, lack of education, inadequate living standard, disempowerment, poor quality of work, threat of violence, people who live in an area that are environmentally hazardous, and this all is also can be regarded as a poverty line on how we measure poverty. It's not only a monetary in terms, but it also covers all the things that I mentioned just now. It will form the line of the poverty that we need to evaluate in every people's life. All right. And also in regard to the cause of poverty because we always like macam what causing the poverty, right, in our community, either in our local community or globally, as we can say. So the cause of poverty is not only because of financial problem. It's actually various, including like unemployment, social exclusion, lack of safety nets, vulnerability to disaster, disease, and vulnerability to diseases. All these is the causes of the poverty. And in order to alleviate the poverty in our area, for example, in our local area, we notice that there are poverty in our local area. So first we need to know what is the cause of the poverty in our area. Either because of the unemployment issue, so because of that people are living in the poverty, or because of the old age of them. So maybe in a family there are no young people and all of them maybe reach the old age, and some of them maybe having serious diseases, or maybe the family just happen to be uh, the victim of serious disaster or what. So all that we need to make a draft, revise that. So we need to know what is the cost, actually the cost of poverty in one specific local area that we are targeting. All right. So by having this more holistic frame, it actually can help us to develop solution and policy that look at this systemic issue instead of just focusing on income. Because as I said just now, income is not the only cause of the poverty. Many people, like even me, after I do the research, after I understand, I get a huge understanding of, before I dive into more on SDG 1, I always thought that, oh, the cause of poverty is maybe of the financial problem of the family, for example. So there's only come in my mind, but actually after we do researches, after we read a lot, we read all the data, it's actually more than that. It's not only because of the income, right? So now I want to go through on understanding what is behind SDG 1. So what is actually the target and the goals provided by the United Nations under these no poverty terms? Okay. Now we move to the understanding on SDG 1. So the first target, actually, in general, the United Nations, they put like 7 target in total. 5 is the substantive targets, and the other 2 is 2 means of implementation. All right, so I will start first with the first target. The first target is by 2030, we want to eradicate extreme poverty for all people everywhere. And currently, as I said just now, poverty is measured as people living on less than $1.9 a day. And this amount, this figure, was measured by International Poverty Line because it is a standardized measure that equalized across all countries using what is called as purchasing power parity. And bear in mind that this figure can actually be different in maybe 5 years later, maybe 10 years later because of the inflation. Because I noticed that in 1991, the figure of people, like they define extreme poverty as people who living like in a life where they're having a $1.25 per day. So like right now, because of the inflation and because all the maybe disaster that coming into in the years, so the figure, the amount that they define as poverty just become higher, $1.9. So this trend can maybe change in a few years, depending on our inflation, social economy, shock, all that. So this actually can be different. But now currently they measure it as $1.9 a day. And this is target number 1. Basically, the target is to eradicate extreme poverty for all people everywhere. Now it's notwithstanding either in our own country or maybe in South Africa, for example, we know that the ranking of South Africa, their poverty, people living in poverty is higher, I think the most highest. So it's actually the target is to globally. All right. And the second target of SDG number 1 is by 2030, reduce at least by half the proportion of men, women, and children of all ages living in poverty in all its dimensions according to national definitions. So the difference between target number 2 and target number 1 is that this target number 2, it is focused on national or country or country level context, because we know that every nation we have a different poverty line, meaning that our value of money in different countries is different. So like for example, in US we know their money value is higher, and for Asia country maybe lower than the Western country. So it's actually target number 2 is to eradicate extreme poverty in a national level. So like instead of just combine the target to be as the whole target, they actually like they divided into different targets, so that they want to make sure that the poverty is like completely be eradicated. So that's why I think the United Nations put like a different target group here. All right. So moving to the third target of the SDG number 1. Okay, the third target is implement nationally appropriate social protection system and measures for all, including floors, and by 2030, achieve substantial coverage of the poor and the vulnerable. All right. So here, they basically want to implement social protection system for cover all the poor and vulnerable people. So like the term social protection here is actually refers to a guaranteed income support in cases of people being unable to work, such as because of their old age, or maybe because of the sickness, maternity, unemployment, disability, loss of major income, and also etc. All right. So according to the World Bank and the International Labour Organization, who are kind of the authorities on social protections, the social protection support system is not only cover on the income support, but it also included programs that provide things like providing healthcare to the people, link them to the jobs opportunity, improve country and individual productivity, invest in children well-being, and protect aging populations. So we see here that the aims of the United Nations in here is also to provide social protections for every floor, because social protection is basically actually a minimum and very basic level of support that the government can give to their people. For example, like essential healthcare, basic services for children, such as nutrition for them, education for children, the care basic for children, and also the basic income security for people of active age who are unable to earn income because of their sickness, unemployment, and maternity. And also basic income security for older person not in a working age. So basically, this is actually the very, very basic protection that every government needs to provide for their society. However, it is unfortunately that 27% of the world population doesn't have this social protection. And we can see it become recent in the COVID area, where most of people doesn't have enough adequate social protection. And it shall be a huge priority for like government and also NGO under that who are supporting like human rights, who are providing support for people in need. So it's basically need to be a huge priority for us to look and see on this area, as because without social protections, people who are vulnerable, people who are poor, they actually like loss of their support, because mainly they are need support for government, for example, or maybe NGO who come to them, who give their basic need to them. So it's really an important thing to look forward to provide them a basic social protection. All right. So that is the target, to make sure that people who are poor, they specific mention that people are poor and vulnerable, to get a social protection system. And it's not only, as I mentioned, and I think I will mention it more time, that it's not only covered on financial area, even though it's actually an important part. If people get financial support, so maybe they can improve their life and so on. But some people, some individuals, they also need other support. For example, education support, like their children cannot afford their children for school, or maybe they have their family member who are sick and need healthcare support. So it's not only on financial. So we need, as an NGO or as we involved in any organization, we need to focus on that. So not only in terms of financial. All right. So the target number 4 is by 2030, ensure all men and women, in particular the poor and vulnerable, have equal rights to economic resources as well as access to basic services, ownership and control over land and other forms of property inheritance, natural resources, appropriate new technology and financial services, including microfinance. So in this target, it's actually, we can separate it by three important components. The first is we aim to provide access to basic services such as sanitation, water, dwelling condition, overcrowding, and giving level of education of the head of the household. And that is the first component. The second important component is regarding the tenure and legal holding over property and resources. So for example, like this tenure and legal holding, I give example of Aborigine people. So we know like Aborigine people, they have their own land. So they have basically have right to their own land. But I'm not sure in Indonesia, but in Malaysia somehow there is like an issue regarding the Aborigines land, where government somehow didn't declare this as Aborigine land. So basically, we need to protect them in terms of their entitlement to their land. So and also like maybe some people, they don't have you know the land grant, so they cannot have the protection over the title to their land and cannot make it as their own property. So we need to also protect people in terms of that components. And the third component is basically on the general provision for access to finance and technology, because we also noticed that somehow even like US itself, their country is a developing country, we know, right? But also they have a high population of people who don't have houses, people who are sleeping or living in the roads. So basically, we need to focus on that lah. We need to give the basic care, basic services to them to ensure that it can be lessened down. Maybe we cannot like abolish all of this problem, but at least we can lessen the amount. At least the graph will be lower, will be down. All right. So that is the fourth target, to give the basic, to access to basic services and to give their right to their own legal title, and also access to financial and also technology that are developing now. All right. So the fifth target is by 2030, build the resilience of poor and those in vulnerable situation and reduce their exposure and vulnerability to climate-related extreme events and other economic, social, and environmental shock and disaster. So this target is basically focused on the situation where there is happening a climate-related extreme events. So we know that, for example, just take example COVID situation. We know that all people, it's not like most, but all people in the world globally, we are affected by COVID-19 effect. But we can see like how this COVID-19 effect give a big impact more on people who are poor and vulnerable, because basically they are like lack of many things in the origin. But then after there is disaster happen, after there is like economic shock, social shock. So this we call like these people will become more vulnerable, and the poor will become poorer, the vulnerable will become more vulnerable. So that's why I think it's really important to build the resilience for them. And one thing that I think it is really important for poor people, or maybe like all people, to have is a basic skill. For example, you need to have skill of survival. just know how to survive without having, maybe you don't have any food. So how to survive without food? Maybe you can do some planting or so on, right? And also for everyone, I think it's very in prominence for us to at least having one skill. For example, we know how to make a clothes. We know how to repair shoes. So all these things, even like we see, oh, it's not much. It's not that much things that can much improve our life, but it's actually can help us in our situation, in our bad situation. For example, like this, like if we are affected by the economic shock, for example, there is inflation in our country. So at least we know what to do. We know like we have the skill that many people don't have, so that we can make money from that. It's not only that we have the knowledge. Yeah, knowledge, education is important, but skill also important. It become like if we go together at this era. So it's not only educate. We just not to be educated. It just not to be educated people, but also to be a people who have a specific skill in our life. All right. So that is the 5 target, which is substantive target under SDG 1. So now we move to the 6 target and 7 target, which are the implementation, the mode of implementation. So the first mode of implementation is to ensure that significant mobilization of resources from a variety of sources, including through enhanced development cooperation, in order to provide adequate and predictable means for developing countries, in particular least developed countries, to implement programs and policy to end poverty in all its dimensions. And the last target or the second mode of implementation is to create sound policy frameworks at the national, regional, and international levels based on pro-poor and gender-sensitive development strategy to support accelerated investment in poverty eradication actions. So you can see from these two mode of implementation, basically it focuses on the policy approach that is taken to ensure that the policy is pro-poor and gender sensitivity, and also the implementation focus on the financial resources needed to lift people from poverty. So we aiming to ensure that the first, we have providing them significant resources, variety of resources, including financial support and all the means of support that I already mentioned before in terms of education, healthcare, and opportunity to be employed and so on. And also to ensure that there is a policy or laws that pro-poor and also gender sensitivity. So that's all are the 7 target under SDG number 1 that is covered under SDG number 1, and we aim to come into this target by 2030. All right. So from all these 7 target, actually we can see that it covers a wide range of alleviating poverty. It's not only by providing certain modes of sources for them, but it's actually cover more than that. And we need to look at poverty problem at a multi-dimensional scope. And as I said just now, if we want to alleviate this poverty problem, we need to know what is the cause of the poverty in that certain area. For example, in our local area, make it simple. In our local area, maybe there are some rural part in that, and what we need to really make a thorough investigation and thorough observation on what's actually the cause of the poverty in that area. And looking at our current graph of the poverty, actually we have achieved promising progress in 1990, whereby we are able to alleviate poverty, we are able to show a increased graph in angling the poverty issue. However, the extreme poverty expected to rise in 2020, back then, 4 years back then, for the first time after 20 years because of the COVID that happen in the global. So because of the COVID situation, we can see that the trend of poverty is actually increasing. Many people become poor. Many people that are vulnerable, they become more vulnerable. And actually that is a really constant problem that every people need to look at. Maybe people think like, oh, because maybe government provide a lot of initiative, a lot of help, a lot of support to people, doesn't mean that there are not people who are still living in poverty, and maybe they are the origin as a poor people, but after the economic problem, they become more poorer. So these people that we need to know where actually they are, and we need to help them. Right. So I now move to my second part of presentation in regard to the role of youth in local and global levels. So this is like the main important point on how do we know like the role of youth? What can we contribute to the society, whether in our local levels or maybe as globally, what we can contribute to ensure that all the five substantive targets and also to the mode of implementation too, how can we make sure that it actually can be achieved by 2020, by 2030. So now how is it important for young people, for youth, to involve in this global change in regard to poverty, like in specific to poverty? So first, because of young people actually should be given chance to be actors of change and not only be a target for development. As we know, like many policy that government, for example, making right now is targeting the young people for development. But this actually the trend cannot be continue lah, because the young people, they are target for development. And at the same time, they need also to contribute their ideas and contribute their energy, all that in the policy making. We need to contribute in what actually the development that the country want to make. So the young also need to contribute the idea, because in the basic term, they are the target of the government. So they need also to contribute in that target. Right. So the second is because young people have the right to participate, influence, and have power over issues that affects our life. I know like many young people, because mostly young people involved in social media, right? And also we have access to most of information, either in our country or in a global issue. So by knowing that most of the young people, they want to participate, they want to be part of the issue, they want to contribute what they can to the issue and to the problem. So having we know like democracy system, it assumes that individuals are equally important. So in that terms, in that proportion, we need to know that all people have the same right. Either you are young, either you are adults, we have the equally important. We are equally important to participate in any issues, and we have a mutual influence between between young people or maybe elderly people who are having experience in life more, and all these people, they have a mutual influence in our society, irrespective of, for instance, their ethnic background or geographical origins. So the terms of democracy will lose its strength and legitimacy in a society that consistently exclude groups of people. So why we need to know that young people are totally important as those who have experience in certain area, because I believe that in certain area, like maybe superior in a certain area, there are some of them, they are not starting when they are young. So they're just starting to get power maybe in their 40s above. most it's not all, but most of them like that. So because of that, actually the ideas is not evergreen idea. So by taking young people into actions, actually you can ask for a more fresh idea, because they know, like I said, young people, they get all access to the information easily, and also we know how to, where to find the resource. We know how to do research. We know where article to find this, and then where to read this news. So young people, basically, they are more technology savvy lah. They more know about technology. They can get more informations easily. Old people, or like maybe elderly, they also can get the information, maybe as not as fast as young people can do. So it's why it's really important for young people to also participate in making changes in any part that they want to participate. All right. So now there are the times for young people to share ideas on how youth can alleviate poverty and achieve the goal. So basically, there are a lot of solutions that are coming from young people. There are lots of ideas that young people can do to alleviate this problem of poverty. But here I specify like 5 main things that young people can do to alleviate this problem of poverty. So the first is involving education and skill. So this education and skill, why I put it as first things that youth should know, because without education, we actually cannot know what is the point of our target, what we are doing. So without educating ourselves, we don't know what is actually we do. Because as I said just now, in the beginning, I also don't know, like actually poverty covers a lot of range, a lot of area. But after doing researches, after educate myself, so now I know. And also so now you guys know, because I share with you guys on that. So that is why educating ourselves is really important, because by that we can expose ourselves to public very firmly. And also skills, we need to have skills. It's really not an important things on what it's really not important on what skill that you are involved with, as long as you have like a basic skill, or maybe the skill that not everyone have. It's as easy as maybe you have the skill to make an animations, or to produce telefilm, produce good quality video. So there's also important skill in our era now. So all these skills is actually can help us to able to join as a part of the people who wants to ensure that all these goals are achieved by 2030. All right. So by educations, we will better equip with what actually the idea of our, for example, you are joining NGO. So what is the idea of the NGO, the goals of the NGO itself? So by educating yourself, now you know what you want to achieve. Now you know what is the actual problem and how to solve it. So it's really important to have education and also to have several skills. And the second one is advocate for changes. So as we know, currently there are many policies that can help to fight poverty, such as increasing the minimum wage. So that also policy that can help to alleviate poverty, or maybe providing affordable housing, investing in education and healthcare. So there are a lot of policies the government or anyone are making right now, and it will be more in upcoming years. So what are the role of youth? So we need to educate ourselves with all the policy that they are making and support them. So we maybe, for example, we know, okay, there are policy that is the government is making in regard to the in providing affordable housing for people, for young people, for example, or for people who are less in their income. So by knowing that, we can actually support the idea by, for example, we just talk about them in our social media. by talking about that, many people, our followers, our friends, are made known to them, because not all people are very want to read, very want to know what is happening right now. So by making by be a middle person between the policymakers and also the society, we can actually help in reduce all this problem in our society. So advocate for change. Use our voice. Use, if you are not comfortable to talk in the public, maybe you can write, maybe you can make animation video or whatever means you want to convey the point to people. So just advocate for it. Right. And the third one is involvement in organization and public campaign. Okay, this one is really important because I throughout my journey being an activist and several NGOs, I noticed that there are many people, young people, starting from age of 17 itself, 16, or even people as old as 35 or 30 something, they actually want to get involved in organizations and NGOs. However, they don't have the opportunity, or maybe as I can say, like, they don't know how to start, who they want to contact, and how to involve in this organization. So maybe right now, people in front of me, you guys are in any NGO. I want to ask you guys to maybe like to promote the NGOs more, because there are people out there, believe me, there are people, maybe like your friends, your circle, actually they want to join any NGO to make changes. However, they don't know where to start, don't know who they want to contact to get involved in that. So as a people who are actively being an activist, being in the any NGO, or like you right now, you are advocating for some changes in PIK-R Bangka. So maybe you can more show to public more about your NGO, and maybe make some room for other people to join. For example, if now you are in any NGO and you're having a campaign, public campaign, so like make sure you give opportunity to other people also to join. Don't like put, for example, you have your own NGO, or maybe you are joining any club in your university. So make sure that in every different campaign, if can, you just ask like different people to join if they are willing to join, because you need to create more opportunity to public, to youth especially, to get involved in the program in your organization, or maybe your community service program, so that every people have the opportunity to be part of any changes. And believe me, all these people, they will really appreciate that. They will really appreciate the opportunity, because it's not an easy opportunity. Although we say like, oh, it's an easy way, just look for any club or any organization that do this thing, and just join them. But it's not as easy as that. There are a lot of process. Maybe the NGO is not easily taking people outside to join them. So it's really important for me, if you can open what you are doing, you can open to public to join you, and so on. And also to those people who are looking for any NGO, or looking for any organization to join, we need to initiate to have self-initiative. Just maybe Google around, or looking at any Instagram or ads applications. So you can just scroll there. There's many like organization that publish their works. So maybe you can just DM them or email them, or maybe contact them and asking how to join this program, how to join as a volunteer, how to be part of them. So it's actually all your steps are really matters. All your steps to get to that point is really important. All right. So the fourth ideas that youth can try to be involved in this issue is by self-initiative. So this self-initiative is actually very broad. For example, you can by yourself do donations. You can donate to any society or any organization that you know their specific area is helping those in need, helping those poor people. So just make a donation, as simple as that. It's actually even you say it's not a big step for some people. It's just a donate, but it's actually a big step. It's really the first step for you to create more opportunity for yourself to join in achieving the goals, achieving achieving the targets, and also all these to alleviate all these problems. And by donation also, it's actually like really a huge things that every NGO looking forward, because even money is not everything, but everything need money. So like by having some financial support is actually really helping, really help NGOs and also any organization uh, to do their programs effectively. And the fifth point is exposure through social media. Right. On this point, exposure through social media, there are one story for me, and maybe this is the last point, the last story for me, from me. Throughout my university time, I really active in university organization, in many clubs in my university. In, for example, providing education for Aborigines people, mentoring, go to school and give motivational talks and so on. I go to the rural area and providing education, tuition for them. But the problem is that on that time, like 2 years ago, I'm not active in my social media, on Instagram or in any social media. I'm not active. So I was very lazy to upload any story or, to post anything in my social media. So I just go there and having my time with them. I just, do whatever it needs to help them. Although I know at the times, like, they're having a very, difficult situation. All those poor people, they're having very difficult situations, but there are nothing in my mind coming that, oh, I need to share this to public. So I just doing all my works there. And now after I finished my university and I joined like outside NGOs, so now I realized that how important is it to expose what we do to public. It's not like expose like, oh, we are the best people who are like helping people. It's not like that. The point is that we want to people to have the exposure on what they need to know, because some people maybe they don't go to rural areas, they don't push the community there, so they actually don't know what is the actual situation they are having right now. So by having the opportunity as to go in person, to talk with them in person, and it's actually a good it can be a good middleman between those people who are needed help and also the society who will give the help to them. So actually, I want to urge you guys here, if you join any activity or do any public community service, please like take a lot of picture and taking video. If there is nothing sensitive with that, if the organization allow it, so just taking video, taking photos, and do like any IG story and what's on talking about that. So at least people or your followers can know what is happening. Your friends can know what is happening. So that people will get more informations on what is actually happened out there. And it's not only you know that, because if only you know that, it's okay, it's benefit for you, but how about other people? So they also need to know, because this thing, to achieve all these goals, it's not only for SDG number 1, all the SDG included under Sustainable Development Goals is, we need more people to involve in this. It's not only you, it's not only government. All the society need to involve in that. So make sure taking a lot of pictures, make sure that you are making exposure to other people, and make sure that anything you do, if you think is benefit to people, just let them know. Don't need to shy, no need to feel like I did not that much things, like it's just helping people, it's just go to give tuitions to people. It's actually a big things. It's actually can open lots of eyes for those who are looking for this opportunity. Right. With that is actually some of the ideas that we can do to alleviate the poverty is actually a lot more. And I believe in back of mind of you guys, there are lots of ideas that you want to throw. What is your ideas on how can we achieve this goal? And I don't know if I have time or not, but actually I think it's exceed the limit already. But if I have the time, actually I want maybe someone of two people to speak up what is their ideas on how you can contribute in the goals. However, it depends on the moderator, like if I have time, but if no, maybe this is the end of my presentations. And one thing I want to reinstate is that if we as a youth, I believe the problem of the youth is we don't have strong financial. It's not like elderly people, they have financial support. But as a youth, we don't have that. So if we cannot give our contribution in that terms, try to find other ways. There is still a lot of ways to make the changes in our society, to make changes in our nation and also global. So don't start yourself in one point. Try to try to dive in what is actually the problem and dive in what the solutions are available, and try to list down what you are able to contribute. Right. So with that, that's all from me. Hopefully that all of you, 56 participants here, 55 from I, and then you guys can get some benefit or can get at least ideas on what to do next. If you guys are really, really interested to join any organization or NGO, don't feel shy or don't feel down if you don't get to enter any NGOs, because actually there are a lot there who needs volunteers. So try to search, try to ask people who are already in that area, try to ask them where you can join, what kind, and also know what kind of NGO you are interested in. So actually there is a lot, and do not restrict yourself in only one particular area. Take note that this volunteer work is actually very big. So try to develop a lot of opportunity as much as you can. All right. I think that's all from me. Thank you very much for this opportunity again, and I pass the floor to the moderator. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Wow, that was so excellent, actually. Oh my God. Oh my God, we can give applause to our speaker. Yeah. Oh my God. So, yeah, I would like to say thank you. And then I agree with your opinion that we have to educate ourselves first. And it's really important. And of course, we have to exposure through social media because, yeah, as a young generation, we do social media a lot. So it's really important actually. And we move to the next session. It's Q&A. So if you have any question, yeah, this is your chance to ask question about the topic and clarify any doubts you may have. I want to remind you that this is important part of the webinar. So please feel free to ask any question you might have. If you want to ask a question, please raise your hand and say your name. Okay, maybe I have one question. So, this is an important question, I think. Based on that information provide about SDG 1, which propose various strategies to poverty, what are the biggest challenges in achieving these goals? And how can these challenges be addressed effectively? Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. So there are two questions. First is what are the challenges and how to treat the challenge. All right. So I think the most challenging part in achieving the goals for no poverty is that because I don't know, this challenge can be is involved about society or like government, mostly in the government part, because we know like poverty involves lots of economic economic situations of one of the specific country. So basically the problem, for example, the inflation in the country, and also maybe most of the loss of job opportunities, all that will be like plus point to for people to know, big plus point that can become a problem for us to alleviate the poverty itself. So the less of, for example, unemployment issue. So it's actually can become, and also the economic shock. For example, current maybe there is later on there are disaster happen, or maybe there are social problem happen. So all that will be a bigger challenge. As I said just now, in 1990, we are in a good progress whereby we are able to make sure that the poverty line is decreased. However, because of the COVID happened, like the poverty line is increasing, there are more poorer people, there are more vulnerable people. So all these unpredictable disaster, unpredictable social and economic shocks, all these become the big challenges to ensure that the poverty issue can be alleviated. However, like that's all depends on the passion that we cannot control. It's all act of God. But what we can control is that make sure that there is a resilience toward the poor people and also the vulnerable people. So we need to make sure that every year, every time the policy making, make sure that the policy is put to protect the poor people, and also like as I said in the target itself, gender sensitivity issues. So all that we need to make sure that for any step, for example, for the government, NGOs, or by ourselves, all the steps that we are taking are the steps that can make sure it will give support to those poor people. As I said, maybe we can teach them certain skills that they need to know to make sure that if this disaster happen, so how can they survive themselves? So I think it's really important for any policy makers, or maybe as any NGO or people involved in changes in the community support, to make sure that whatever we give to these poor people is that can give benefit to them. It's not only on financial part. That's why I really make focus on that. It's not only you give them 5,000 ringgit per month. It's not only that, because money can help them to survive, but it cannot give a long-term protection towards them. So it's really important for us to provide resilience to these people and give them more skill, knowledge, and also educate them on how actually they can cover themselves if there are no help from outsider. So it's really important to give the opportunity for the poor people to also develop themselves, to also protect themselves. So I think that's all the answer for me. Hopefully is okay, the answer for you.
Okay, it's actually answered. Oh my God, thank you so much. So as a young generation, we have to make sure any step, yeah. So maybe from other participant, you can ask a question in the chat box or raise your hand and then say your name. Okay, I think that's all. If you guys don't have any question, because it's really clear and I really love it how to you explain it to us. And yeah, I'm very grateful to have you today, actually. And yeah, I want to conclude today's session. So SDG 1 aims to eliminate extreme poverty and significantly reduce overall poverty by 2030. It outlines a comprehensive approach that includes eliminating extreme poverty, implementing social protection system, ensuring equal access to resource and property, building resilience and disaster, mobilizing resources, and creating pro-poor and gender-sensitive development policies. So, with that, we conclude the question and answer session. I hope you all found it informative. So we still have some time left in the webinar, so feel free to network and discuss the topic further with our speaker and other attendees. As we wrap this session, I encourage you to all stay connected and network with each other. This is a great opportunity to exchange valuable ideas and get to know your fellow attendees. Once again, thank you for joining us in this webinar. We hope you found it insightful and educational. And once again, thank you for Wani to sharing this
Welcome.
Oh my God, thank you. Okay, back again with our Master of Ceremony, Zahwa. Are you here, Zahwa? Okay, thank you.
Yes, I'm here. Okay, thank you so much, Gina, for guide our main session. But unfortunately, guys, due to the limited time, I'm really sorry that we can afford each question and enthusiast. But don't be sad, we can still hear your enthusiasm through social media, so please don't forget to share your excitement on Instagram and kindly tag at PIK-R BangkaJS and at official Edi Setiawan and all of the speakers. Okay, moving on to the next agenda, which is the documentation session. Let's all turn on your Zoom cameras first. I wanted to see those handsome and beautiful faces. So, Rangers, please turn on your camera. To all of the participants, please turn on your Zoom cameras. Our operator ready to take a screenshot. I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3 and say cheese. Okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3, say cheese. The second one, say cheese. Okay, again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Cheese. Okay, one more time. I want all of the participants get ready to this, to show your this finger. Okay, I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much. And the end of documentation session signifies that our activity has completely come to end. Thank you to all of the speakers for sharing their knowledge with us. And also, thank you, friends, for paying attention since the very beginning. Hopefully, everything that we learned today will be our profession someday. Me, Zawa Aulia, representing the committee in charge, would like to thank all of you guys and see you at our second day session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Goodbye and good night, everyone.
Pada tanggal 15 Mei 2017 lahirlah Pusat Informasi Konseling Bangka, Jakarta Selatan. We do hope that by becoming a part of this organization, it can give us a platform to showing people that if you truly believe in something, you can achieve it by empowering other people and lift up other people in a positive way. Nelson Mandela once said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." And now we are doing it. Welcome to PIK Bangka, Jakarta Selatan.
Sejak 2017 secara kolektif dan berkelanjutan, kami telah menyelenggarakan lebih dari 400 kali kegiatan dari berskala lokal, nasional, dan internasional yang berhasil menjangkau lebih dari 2.500.000 penerima manfaat tidak langsung melalui digital activism dan lebih dari 30.000 penerima manfaat langsung melalui serangkaian offline dan online mentoring, kelas pelatihan untuk remaja dan keluarga, workshop, seminar nasional, dan juga webinar internasional.
Banyak jalan menuju Roma, seperti halnya apa yang telah dilakukan oleh PIK-R Bangka Jakarta Selatan selama pandemi COVID-19. Secara aktif kami membagikan komunikasi, informasi, dan edukasi secara digital atau kami berikan nama program Poli Remaja. Dan selain itu kami juga aktif bukan hanya menjalankan fungsi konseling secara offline di sekretariat kami di kantor kecamatan, tetapi kami juga memberikan konseling gratis cuma-cuma melalui Instagram kami atau kami beri nama program Teman Curhat dan juga platform lainnya.
95 PIK-R terdata di DKI Jakarta, namun hanya 20% diantaranya yang tergolong aktif. Hal ini dikarenakan kurangnya pembinaan kepada PIK-R. Sejak tahun 2020 sebagai PIK-R percontohan, PIK-R Bangka berkomitmen untuk memberikan pembinaan kepada PIK-R sekitar untuk bisa berproses dan berdampak bersama. Saat ini, kegiatan Bina PIK sudah terimplementasikan sampai ke tingkat Provinsi DKI Jakarta. Pandemi COVID-19 tidak menyurutkan semangat kami. Meskipun harus di rumah saja, tetapi kami tetap melakukan kegiatan produktif seperti online mentoring untuk anggota kami serta remaja Indonesia. Selain itu, kami juga memiliki kegiatan masif yang kami lakukan saat pandemi, ialah Festival Kreativitas Remaja 2021.
Seperti 1 tahun kali ini tetap membersihkan rumah secara aktif dan kolaboratif, kami kita menjalankan kerjasama dengan 50 mitra lebih yang terdiri dari LSF, komunitas, pemerintahan, dan NGO internasional demi menyukseskan program inovatif untuk kebermanfaatan yang lebih luas.